What's up, everybody? It's your boy C-Money, and I'm back with another video. And today we got to talk about NXT, because this week I wasn't able to make NXT reactions for last week's episode of NXT. That's my bad, because I couldn't find the time. But we're here now, so let's talk about it. So, bad news, because we got, as you know, last week was NXT Roadblock, and Roxanne Perez, after she defeated Meiko Satomura, she passed out and she collapsed and she collapsed. And so Shawn Michaels announces that she's not medically cleared to compete, and that we're gonna have to crown a new champion at NXT Stand and Deliver in a ladder match. It's gonna be a ladder match. Not sure how many. I'm guessing six women. I guess, I don't know. It didn't say, but a ladder match to determine the new NXT Women's Champion, because Roxanne Perez is not medically cleared after she passed out or collapsed last week after a match. So that's sad. But hey, it's gonna be a cool match to see. I'm just sad because I wish it's sad that Roxanne Perez has to vacate the title. But then the Gallus Boys defeat Pretty Deadly to retain the NXT Tag Team titles. Fallon Henley and Josh Briggs go investigate Kiana James, Fallon's tag partner. Go search her office, because remember last week, Briggs, he kind of saw some roses, and apparently they weren't from Brooks, who are Josh's partner, Kiana's boyfriend, I guess. But no, because then they looked at the they're going, first of all, Briggs is all dressed up in a hunting gear. He has this hunting camouflage thing on, which was hilarious. But he finds the note that has that was in the roses or whatever, and apparently it was from this guy named Sebastian. And Sebastian, and then they find in Kiana's notebook or Kiana's planner or whatever, that it says, all the stuff, have me and Fallon win the tag belts, have Brooks fall in love with me or whatever, and then go out to dinner with Sebastian or whatever. It's basically just saying how it was all set up. It was all set up, I guess, and then she finds this contract for, apparently Kiana's supposed to have a matchup with Gigi Dolan, and for a qualifying match to be in the NXT Women's Championship ladder match at NXT Stand and Deliver. And Fallon's she never told me about this. And basically they find out that there's this guy named Sebastian who she's going out, or at least we think she's going out with. And that, well, I mean, because it was it sounded like love. Yeah, it really is. So poor Brooks is being cheated on by Kiana. Kiana, how could you do this to Brooks, man? Not cool. But then, because then they have the match. Gigi Dolan defeats Kiana James. And there's Kiana James was all alone because Fallon and Briggs were out. So Fallon wasn't by Kiana's side during the match, and then Kiana gets ambushed by Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, because they have Alba Fire, Isla Dawn defeated Tatum Paxley and Ivy Nile and Katana Chance and Cade and Carter in a triple threat women's tag match to determine number one contenders for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, which held by Kiana James and Fallon Henley. So, and Kiana was all by herself because Fallon wasn't at ringside, because her and Briggs were still out doing that, whatever, with going through Kiana's office. Then Kiana gets ambushed after she loses to Gigi Dolan. She gets ambushed by Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And then she's backstage, and she's Fallon and Briggs finally show up, and they're like, wait, what the heck are you guys wearing? Yeah. And Kiana's like, where the heck were you? And she's like, well, you didn't tell me that you had a match. We're partners. We're supposed to talk about this. And she's like, well, I'm not going to pass by an opportunity for the NXT Women's Championship. And she didn't bring up Sebastian, but it's going to come up eventually. And it was funny because the crowd was chanting, who's Sebastian? It was funny, but then Zoe Stark defeats Sol Ruka to advance into the ladder match at NXT Stand and Deliver. And then we're talking about the Triple Threat Women's Tag match, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, and then Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, and Tatum Paxley, Ivy Nile. Tatum Paxley turns on Ivy Nile. Who, yeah, because remember, they're part of Diamond Mine, right, with the Creed brothers and stuff. Tatum Paxley turns on Ivy Nile. What? Because she was always saying how, like, because last week she wasn't with Tatum. She was out. Ivy was out celebrating with the Creed brothers instead of being with Tatum. So Tatum's like, you were never my partner. All that. Yeah. So Tatum Paxley turns on Ivy Nile. Great. Then Scripps. Remember Scripps? He was basically Scripps is like remember Reggie? Reggie who was who did all those flips and stuff, and was going for the 24/7 championship. Remember the 24/7 championship? Yeah, Triple H got rid of that, but it was a fun belt. But I think, yeah, I mean, it's all right if it's gone. We don't really need it. But so Scripps, it's the same guy, Reggie. He's just in a mask now. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, yeah. And he says how he has his eye set on this particular NXT superstar. And then later we see him because, Wesley has his North American Championship Open Challenge. And it's funny because Axiom, it's like 5 hours before their match or whatever. Axiom approaches Wesley as Wesley is getting out of his car. And he's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, whoa, what the heck are you doing? He's like, well, I'm making sure I'm accepting your challenge. So it's like, I'm going to go wherever you go. Yeah. And he's like, our match doesn't start until 5 hours. Yeah. He's like, what do you want to do? He's like, he said, like, you hungry or something? I'm like, I could eat you. So Axiom just following Wesley around because he wants to accept his open challenge. Then what happens is, the brawl is breaking out. Axiom gets in the ring, but then Scripps come from out of nowhere, taking out Axiom. Then Wesley takes everybody out. Also, JD McDonough and Ilya Dragunov are going at it because they got in a brawl. I'll talk about that. But then Wesley, so basically a match doesn't happen. Wesley's with Shawn Michaels, he's like, oh, mad, all that, or like. And Shawn Michaels is like, well, you're putting yourself in this position by having these open challenges every time. You don't have to prove yourself. And Wesley's like, yes, I do. So then it sets up a fatal 5-way. Yeah, I think it was fatal 4-way. Fatal 5-way at NXT Stand and Deliver for the NXT North American Championship. And Wesley gets to pick the four men he's going to be going up against for the NXT North American Championship. So that is going to be very cool. Fatal 5-way for the NXT North American Championship at NXT Stand and Deliver. Then to the Tony D'Angelo and Stacks with Braun Breaker backstage, and Braun Breaker saying, oh yeah, can we be like the Sopranos and stuff? Like, yeah. Braun Breaker saying all that stuff, and they're like, no. They're like, you have your contract signing with Carmelo Hayes. You have your contract signing with Carmelo Hayes because they're going to go out at NXT Stand and Deliver for the NXT Championship, and D'Angelo and Stacks are like, hey, if you need them to take you out, if you need us to take them out for you, we got you. And he's like, I appreciate it, but I got this. Yeah. And then Tony D'Angelo and Stacks say, hey, I think it's time we go after the tag team titles. So that's going to be very cool. I would love to see Tony D'Angelo and Stacks win the tag team titles, NXT tag titles. And then, yeah, I was saying Ilya Dragunov and JD McDonough start brawling, and when they come face to face, and they're gonna have a match next week apparently, which is gonna be great. I thought they were gonna save it for Stand and Deliver, but no, we're getting it. Now it's this week, but last week it would have been next week. But I'm making this video on a Sunday, so technically it's this week. But who knows? They'll probably have a rematch in NXT Stand and Deliver. Another match though that is JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, because we had that match last week. Gigi Dolan picked up the victory, but JC Jane's all like, she snuck a victory and stuff. She you think this is over, but JC Jane separated her shoulder, and she's like, you think that's a win? She separated my shoulder, and then she won. That wasn't a fair win. So Jacy Jane apparently is going to be out because she separated her shoulder, but she'll be back soon, and then she's going to break Gigi's face again. Dragon Lee comes at Dragon Lee. It's his NXT debut. He didn't have a match, but he's backstage talking, and he says how like he's one of a kind, and he's like, I think I'm gonna like it here in NXT. And then Andre Chase is talking to Duke Hudson because Duke Hudson, Chase U. Duke Hudson, member, kind of said that he's upset with Chase U because they keep losing and losing and losing. But Andre Chase is like, it's not all about that. It's about what like. It's not just about winning. And he said to Duke Hudson, like, before, you were okay with just being you, but Chase U made you into a better person and a better all that. So he's just like, think about that, Duke. And then, you know, he had Ava Rain from the Schism showed up, and she put like one of those yellow masks on like the Chase U horn or whatever that Thea Hale always carries around. So yeah, well, that, and Duke Hudson's just like, okay, weirdo. Dabba-Kato defeats Apollo Crews in a cool match, but Dabba-Kato beats Apollo Crews in the end. Then let's see, is there anything else? No, and then pretty deadly after they lost the tag belts, or after they lost their match against the Gallus Boys for the tag belts, they're saying how they want to host NXT Stand and Deliver. So apparently then it gets revealed that, yeah, Pretty Deadly is going to host NXT Stand and Deliver. Yeah. Because then they come out because Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes are having their contract signing, and like then Pretty Deadly comes out and they're going to like run the contract signing and stuff, and she's like, but we won't say a word. We won't say a word. And then, you know, Braun Breaker and Carmelo are talking, saying how you like, you know, Carmelo's like, I don't want the anger issues, Braun Breaker. I want the Braun Breaker that made Tommaso Ciampa tap out. Like I want that Braun Breaker. And Braun Breaker's like, Carmelo, I want the Carmelo that these fans cheer your name all the time. I want that. I want the Carmelo who unified or made the NXT North American Championship so good, because Carmelo Hayes unified the NXT North American Championship and the Cruiserweight Championship. Braun Breaker unified the NXT United Kingdom Championship and the NXT Championship. So they both have unified belts. Then, you know, they signed the contract, all that, but you know, there's no drama or anything, and Pretty Deadly's all like, we want drama. Yeah. So Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker, Braun Breaker takes off his shirt, Carmelo takes off his jacket and his shirt and whatever, or he takes off his jacket, and they're like, fine, you want drama? And then they both put Pretty Deadly through the contract signing table. Hilarious. And Trick Williams is in the background like, yeah. And then the last thing we have to talk about is Johnny Gargano, baby, because he starts off the show coming out talking about Grayson Waller 15 months ago when Grayson Waller attacked him. And then Vic Joseph, who's on commentary with Booker T on NXT, he gets up and he's like, Johnny. And he has it on his phone. Grayson Waller is at Johnny Gargano's house. And then Johnny rushes home, and Johnny and Grayson have a brawl at Johnny's house. Candice comes out with hers and Johnny's son and everything. And Grayson Waller's like, this is your dad. Quill, I think his name is. This is your dad? And Candice is like, stop. Leave him alone. And then Grayson Waller like breaks a rake over Johnny's back. And that sets up NXT. It was going to happen. Yeah, NXT. It was revealed last week. NXT Stand and Deliver. I cannot wait to see Johnny and Grayson Waller go at it. You beat him up in front of his house, in front of his wife and son. Grayson, you're going down at the hands of Gargano. But that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe for more. C Money's out.